How do we make meaning of all this? The quest for meaning is how we grow, it's how we evolve, it's how we find fulfillment, how we become the human beings that we're here to become. It's in that quest for meaning, not so much in the pursuit of happiness by itself. And meaning often comes when we face hardship. That seems to be one of the laws of becoming a full human being. And so here we are, stuck together but apart in this situation of uncertainty, concern for our health, concern for the health of others, holding grief and not being able to grieve together, unsure about our economic security, holding the ache for communities and people that are less privileged than us. It's a tough situation. It's a traumatic situation. And so I want to invite you into a series of reflections, an inquiry into what it would take to find meaning here. Because if we manage to turn this into an opportunity for growth, for emotional and spiritual growth, then the people that come out of this will be a people more ready than ever to face the threats and concerns that were already here before the pandemic. The fact that we're living through the sixth great extinction, the rampant levels of inequality and injustice. We can turn towards that in a different way if this quest for meaning allows us to come out of this stronger, bigger, better, more capable. So I'm hoping that you are interested in joining me in this inquiry. You know, the first book that I picked up when I realized that we were in this for the long haul and that this is serious was Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. It's an important tome for humanity. If you don't know about it, Viktor Frankl was a Holocaust survivor that talks about that shares his profound insights on how human beings can make it through what was for him the most harrowing experience that a human being could have in the 20th century. And so there's wisdom here. And I'm not the only one that's picking it up. A couple of other, many people have. And I've been loving some reflections about it in opinion pieces. And I'll reflect on them here too. But this quest for meaning, David Brooks actually in the New York Times had a column written called the moral meaning of the plague, and he picks up three of the attributes of this quest for meaning that Viktor Frankl outlined. He talks about how we find meaning in the love that we give during a time of crisis, in the work that we offer during a time of crisis, in the courage that we find to turn towards suffering during a time of crisis. I want to add our capacity to grieve and to find the wisdom on the other side of grief. And Brooks adds the story that we tell about this time and how we tie that story to a larger story, a story of redemption. And so those are the things that I want to explore with you in this series of reflections. And I'll talk about each of them, and the next one will be on post-traumatic growth. We'll talk about that and about that possibility before then we get into into the love that we give, the work that we offer, the courage that we have, how we grieve, and the story that we tell. But in the meantime, I want to invite you to hold some of the questions that Brooks asks. And I think these are important questions to hold at any given moment, but a time like this, it really forces us to contend with them. The first one is a question that I think every evolved human being should be able to hold, which is, are you ready to die? I think we should befriend the possibility of our death. Are you ready to die? Very important question. This is a time to hold it, even if it scares us, because it is integral to this quest for meaning. If your lungs were to be filled with fluid and you were put on a ventilator a week from today, and you don't know if you will wake up, would you be happy with the life that you have lived? A very important question, because here we have the opportunity to do something different should we come out of this well and healthy. What would you do if a loved one died? Another important question. My family came together, my parents and my 3 siblings and me, and we talked about this. And it's not a conversation that we would have had otherwise, and it was medicine. It was so special, and it is my prayer that every single one of us makes it through this healthy and well. But if one of us doesn't, we will have had the conversation, and even if we do, we will have had this conversation, and we're closer in our love because of it. It's a beautiful one. The other one is, what are your spiritual and relational resources in this time? Do you have them? If you don't, are you finding them? Where could you go for them? How do you resource yourself spiritually and relationally? How do you solve for that right now? And finally, what is the work that you can offer? How can you serve? What is the unique way in which you can serve and offer of yourself in these times? Grateful to David Brooks for these questions, and hoping that you will just spend a little bit of time with them. And I'll come back at you tomorrow with a next reflection on this quest for meaning, which is the possibility of post-traumatic growth. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for being together on this journey to something new.